So today we're diving into the Pi Network, the project that lets you mine crypto right from your phone. But we're not just going to talk about the tech. We're going to explore the belief system behind it. We're breaking down the really passionate arguments of one of its biggest advocates to understand the philosophy that's driving this huge global community. Let's get right into it. This is the hook, right? This is the opening shot from the source material. And it's not just some random question. It's a direct challenge to how we all think about value. It's designed to grab you and frame Pi not as some get-rich-quick thing, but as a real long-term economic shift. And that right there is the key. You see, to really get the conviction of its supporters, we've got to look past the current market price, or, the lack of one, and try to understand the philosophy. The whole argument from this advocate is that Pi is being built to be the foundation of a brand new popular economy. All right, so this brings us to what is maybe the single most important idea in this entire manifesto. According to its believers, if you don't get this next distinction, you're pretty much going to miss the entire point of the Pi network. Now, what's so interesting here is how it splits worth into two totally different concepts. On one side, you've got the market price. That's the number you see on an exchange, right? It's driven by traders, by speculation, it goes up and down like crazy. But on the other side, you have consensus value. And this advocate argues that this is way, way more powerful. It's a value that's created by people just agreeing on it, and it's designed to be stable, whether it's on an exchange or not. And this quote, wow, it really drives the point home, doesn't it? In this view, if you're just focused on a speculative market price, you're getting distracted. The real value, the real action, is being built by the community, just agreeing. It's a totally different way of looking at things. So, it all boils down to this term, Global Consensus Value, or GCV. And the advocate makes it super clear, this isn't a price set by some core team or dictated from the top down. Nope. This is supposed to be a grassroots value that just emerges from millions of users all over the world agreeing, hey, this is what one Pi is worth for actual goods and services. And this is the number that the community is rallying around, $314,159 per Pi. Yep, you heard that right. It's not a typo. It's this huge symbolic number that comes from the mathematical constant Pi, and it really is the cornerstone of this entire economic vision. So you might be wondering, where does this vision fit in with the rest of the crypto world? Well, according to this advocate, it's not here to just coexist. It's actually designed to directly challenge the whole crypto establishment, and specifically Bitcoin. The speaker basically argues that this is where most critics just get it totally wrong. To them, comparing Pi to Bitcoin or other cryptos is, and I quote, an insult to the idea. And why? Because they believe they're playing a completely different game altogether. And this table here really breaks down how they see that difference. Bitcoin, well, it's framed as a tool for speculators and these big money whales, a game of buy low, sell high. Pi, on the other hand, is positioned as a currency for a real, stable economy. Its value is supposed to come from the users agreeing on it, not from traders. The goal isn't a wild price chart. It's actual real-world usefulness. Okay, so if this is really an economic movement, the next logical question has to be, how do you even join? Well, the advocate lays out a very, very clear path for anyone who's convinced by this vision. The path to getting in is laid out as a pretty straightforward process, but pay close attention to step 2, registering with your real name from an official ID. This isn't just some technical detail, it's actually central to the whole philosophy of building a network of verified, real people, not just a bunch of anonymous accounts. All right, so once you're in the network, the advocate outlines some clear responsibilities. Of course, there's the security stuff. Protecting your secret phrase is everything. But then the focus shifts really quickly to community building, growing the network by inviting people you trust, friends, family, and then helping them get verified. The whole emphasis is on this organic, human-powered growth. Now, let's switch gears and look at the advocates' prediction for the future. They argue that once the network fully opens up, a massive supply shock for Pi on public exchanges isn't just possible, it's basically a foregone conclusion. And to back this up, they point to data like this. The claim is that only a teeny tiny fraction of the total 100 billion supply is even on exchanges. The theory is that the huge majority is being held by believers who just won't sell for anything less than that GCV. So if a bunch of outside demand suddenly shows up, buyers would burn through that small, cheap supply and then have no choice but to start paying the higher consensus value that the community set. And this brings us right back to the core idea. For the true believer, the dollar value is secondary. The ultimate test of Pi success isn't its price on some exchange, but what you can actually go out and buy with it. Its real-world purchasing power inside its own ecosystem. And so, we end up right back where we started. This entire argument really hinges on one belief, that if enough people agree something has worth, then it does, no matter what the markets say. It really leaves us with a fundamental question. Is value something born from speculation, or is it born from pure belief?